Hang on, it's taking a while. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the Black Cat Show. And boy, do we have quite a little bit to talk about today. Man, honestly, I'm kind of worn out. I just had a personal situation, but it's all over. Oof, probably forever. I would hope, especially if you. Check out my website, blackcatbooks.org, and support my books. And I've made some major improvements to the site, so go ahead and check that out. And I hope it's going to. My traffic keeps going up and up. I have to stop just a moment and just say, yeah, thank you all for your support. I deeply, deeply appreciate it, and I'm well on my way to becoming. I don't want to say super successful online but I'm well on my way to improving my situation on this channel, sort of growing it and sort of reaching a new audience, and it's all because of you. So, thank you, because of viewers like you. But anyway, all right. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about a fringe topic that I myself am super passionate towards. The decline, or rather, the decline of Death Battle, or rather, more accurately, the decline of Screw Attack, because this was indeed the Stuttering Craig show back in the 2000s and early 2010s. Like, this channel used to be a really good gaming channel in which they would put together funny top 10s, they would talk about gaming news, they would do all sorts of things. They would make funny skits, they were likable, they were interesting. For the most part, Pro Jared got to start here, so that it wasn't all sunshine and roses. But for the most part, like I was, and still am a classic Screw Attack fan. Like I've been going back and watching a lot of old Screw Attack videos on the Screw Attack Archive, which is a YouTube channel that you really should check out. They upload they upload old Screw Attack videos every single day, and I've been keeping up with everything they've done, and they've shown all sorts of crazy cool shit I've never seen before. Some good skits, the Soldier Boy one, lots of good stuff. Skits mostly, but it's nice to see that there are top tens outside of the whole Rooster Teeth umbrella, because Rooster Teeth acquired Screw Attack and then got rid of all the Screw Attack content, all the gaming content, in favor of pushing this Death Battle shit, which has been a disaster. Now, this is Death Battle is probably one of the most autistic, big business sort of thing on the internet. Like, two fictional characters fight, who would win, and they try to justify it, and it's one of the most pathetic, asinine things I've ever seen in my life. For one thing, the show isn't interesting. It's not fun to watch. They don't bring up interesting facts or history, and they often get things wrong. A lot, actually. If you're a big fan of both franchises, you're going to catch on to shit a lot. You're going to catch on to a lot of shit they get wrong, and it's basically just throwing two autistic, obsessive fan bases against each other. And I think their most popular video is still Goku versus Superman, surely. Let's see. Can we look at where the fuck are where is it? Where can we see the views? Okay, uploads, Death Battle, Beerus versus Sailor Moon. Like, who the fuck cares about any of this? For one thing, look at these fucking selections. Beerus versus Sailor Galaxia, She-Ra versus Wonder Woman, Danny Phantom versus American Dragon Jake Long, Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Kakashi. How are these people handling these IPs? Well, technically what they're doing is they're just abusing the shit out of parody law. Like, oh, it's just a parody. We can do what we want with these characters, but it's just it's really disgusting when they do stuff like throw their own characters in there, like Rooster Teeth own characters, like Yang and I believe Weiss in there, and I believe they win. Yang, of course, won against Tifa, which was the moment I dropped them. That was several years ago now, but yeah. not a single one of these are interesting. Like it's all like just stupid shit. Like that doesn't make any sense. Not very interesting, not very fun. But of course, you have a bunch of people who obsess over this shit because you have a bunch of nerds, you have a bunch of autistic shut-ins who revolve basically their entire lives like defending certain brands, defending certain stories and characters, and this is just taking advantage of that mindset. Is just the show is not fun to watch. It's not well animated. The fights aren't well choreographed. They're not interesting, especially these days. If anything, I think they've gotten worse these days. Like going by what I've seen. Actually, I think we will watch a little bit of this one just to showcase what I mean. But yeah, it's a far cry from what they used to make. Like this is a good example of what's wrong with like Rooster Teeth and other online content, like the abuse of copyright law, the sort of autistic, the sort of exploiting the autism of these respective fan bases. Because there's a lot of they use a lot of anime characters, especially ones that I've noticed are still ongoing, which I as I recall goes against their previous creed or a previous modus operandi. Like the way they used to do it is that they used to wait for these stories to conclude before putting these things against each other, but that doesn't really work because like Superman's always going to be ongoing. A lot of these manga like are going on forever. Like it's just it's positively ridiculous. I think we might as well dislike this already. The show needs to be called out for what it is. Like I think we might as well bring up the Stan Lee quote, the Stan Lee video, because this kind of sums up how I feel about Screw Attack from the man himself. This kind of goes into like why I don't respect Death Battle. I don't respect this team. I don't respect this channel. Like Stan Lee himself goes to bat to prove my point.
Stan's brains.
So one question I'm always asked: who would win in a fight? Who would win in a fight if Galactus fought the Hulk, or if Thor fought Iron Man? And there's one answer to all of that. It's so simple. Anyone should know this. The person who'd win in a fight is the person that the scriptwriter wants to win. If I'm writing a story about the Thing from the Fantastic Four, and he gets into a big fight with Spider-Man, and millions of people out there say, who would win? Well, it depends on who I want to win if I'm writing the script. If I want Spider-Man to win, he'll win. If I want the Thing to win, he'll win. These are fictitious characters. The writer can do whatever he wants with them. So stop asking those bonehead questions, because I've had it with that.
Oh man, Stan BTFOing Death Battle in about a minute. Like, holy fucking shit. Like, how insane is that? Like, Stan Lee BTFO Death Battle's entire channel with a single video. Holy fucking shit. And it's true. Get a life. Like, really, who the fuck cares who would win in a fight? Like, Death Battle tries to justify it. They try to say that, like, oh, we're calculating their abilities, powers, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. And then it turns out to be something stupid, like overhyping, like, Young's aura, for example. I'm still hung up on that. They really did Tifa dirty. And that's the thing, too. When they're doing that, you know, like, putting Young, a character they own, against Tifa, you know, one of the most beloved female video game characters in history, hashtag Team Tifa, up against Tifa, and then have Young win in order to just promote their shitty brand and character. And by the way, Ruby is shitty. It's amusing. I make better shit than Ruby. So anyway, Ruby is just awful, and that's a good example. Like, Rooster Teeth it basically exists in a bubble. Like, right, they're a company that exploits the law, copyright law specifically, in a way that nobody else has really been able to do. Like they had Red versus Blue. Microsoft thought it was funny, and then incorporated like aspects of it into Halo. It's basically like synonymous with the Halo brand at this point, right? That built up their channel, and now they're doing stupid shit. You have like countless like sub channels and other outlets and all these individuals like pushing specific brands. I am certain they're probably the most centralized Xbox fanboys on the internet. Like I knew a guy who claimed to work for them, and he came out and said that like, oh, Xbox is the best, man. He was a huge Xbox fan. He was big on he was basically like me with the Wii U, and he was the Xbox One, and like when Wii U won that generation, he was salty. But anyway, it's like, who the fuck cares? And like, it'd be one thing if the animation was good or whatever, but it's not. Like a lot of times it's just terrible sprite work. It has like terrible voice acting. It's just awful. What does this look like? Yep, just terrible 2D sprites that don't resemble the characters at all. It's just ugh. I might as well skip to the end here.
Holy crap! This fight was so.
Oh yeah. I couldn't even. Okay, so I couldn't even. There's so much wrong with Death Battle. I'm having trouble like getting it. Should I have like dedicated my entire show to this, like bitching about Death Battle and how they've gotten worse over the years? Back in the day, they used to be reasonable. They used to like pit like people from. They used to have some kind of theme behind them, and now they don't. They really don't. Like they're just. They all feel like joke mashups a lot of times. Like, oh, Goro versus Machamp. They both have 4 arms. But like the thing that really gets me about modern Death Battle, the thing that pisses me off the most, and I think is just really indicates the severe decline in quality, is these garbage OC characters. Like, holy fucking shit. This is meant to be you. Like, this is meant to be your character. This is meant to be an expression of, like, who these characters are supposed to be. It's awful. Like, it really looks awful. They're animated awfully.
Beer for us. Wait. Beer us whiskey champagne? Oh my god! All the cats are named after booze. I like them now. This one.
Yep, all the jokes are awful. They're cringy as fuck. They're not well animated. They don't make a good point. They seem kind of pointless. They always try to justify their battles with one like obscure fact about the character. Oh, Superman is unstoppable because he once held a book with infinite pages. Like, so what? Like, so what? It's things like that that don't make sense. But really, the problem with Death Battle, the problem with a lot of these garbage YouTube channels, again, it's like the Oculus thing. Like, if you don't like it, you shouldn't watch it. And that's what I've been doing since Yang versus Tifa. I've just tuned out. I've stopped following them. I've stopped paying attention to them. They are completely worthless. They are completely full of shit. They're not interesting. They're not funny. They don't have good animators. They don't have good results. They don't point out interesting facts about the characters half the time. They're not entertaining. Like, who the fuck even watches this shit? Like, autistic spurgs. That's it. It's just, if the scriptwriter wants someone. I was trying to do a Stan Lee impression. I've never tried that before. Let me see if I can do it. What did he say exactly? The person will win. Fuck. I can't do it. I just can't do it. I'm not quite on Stan the Man's level, unbelievably. Should I just play the video again? Basically, if you whoever the scriptwriter wants to win is going to win, and that's basically what's been happening with Death Battle since the beginning, we've seen all sorts of weird biases from them. Yang versus Tifa is the obvious one, but there's been lots of things about like anime fans and things like that. Like people are always trying to justify, but they're always trying to justify their ridiculous decisions, basically. But I think anyone who really thinks critically about this shit knows this is fucking stupid, and you really should just get a life, right? Like Stan told you to, like get a life, but really just shit on these people. Like fuck them. Like the show is garbage, the fans are garbage. They don't conclude anything. Like nobody seriously believes that Superman can beat Goku. Like it's just like a bunch of fanboy nonsense. You know what I mean? Like DC fanboys, comic fanboys are the most obsessive people on the planet. I found some weird comic documents from people who like argue about like Superman is more powerful than any. It's more powerful than Batman. The fact that these people can unironically say that like Superman is unstoppable and then say that like, oh, he can barely beat Batman says volumes about like the current state of comics. Like nothing makes any sense. Superman is more powerful than any anime character. Let's see how this let's see. What anime characters could beat Superman? Let's see, who was it? Who was the guy who, let's see. Damn, I haven't found this article in a while. I mean, it was from some, like, crazy dude. You stumble across it occasionally when people are arguing about this shit. Maybe it's in the responses. Let's see. Let's see. Superman is weak against Chi. If that's true, yeah, he would get fucked against Goku. You wouldn't see Death Battle pointing that out though. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, maybe it's like Superman versus One Punch Man. I think that's... Let's see how this goes. Where is it? Like... Okay, look, okay. Superman would destroy Saitama literally with a sneeze. The thing that many people do not understand is that Saitama is not a character created to be stronger than anyone else, but to tease all the souls in which the protagonist is committed to defeating the enemy. Don't believe me? Well, then it would not make sense to compare the two, because Saitama... what is this? This Enterprise is not even planetary. Obviously, the serious punch is not 100% of Saitama, but he certainly committed himself, at least in a small part. Superman, on the other hand, is never at his maximum, unless he is exposed to the energy of a quasar for a limited time. So talking about an amplified Superman is wrong. It is simply approaching its maximum. Superman managed to destroy a multiverse with a practically infinite number of universes with a punch, and with that same punch he defeated the creator of this multiverse and even damaged the sixth dimension. And yet somehow he can't beat Batman. And yet somehow people seriously argue Superman versus Batman. We are more than... Okay. What is the sixth dimension? Yeah. Here Superman declares he can destroy Yeah. The universe and the DC are trillions of times larger than ours. Or here he survives a blow from Soulfire Darkseid. Look at this, like, bullshit. Just justifying this crazy shit. Alright. Isn't it ridiculous? Like, the links these nerds will go to argue their point. Like, oh, a Superman could totally win. Nobody cares. Like, nobody cares. The thing you literally revolve your life around does not matter to anyone. It's just... Death Battle is trash, and you're trash for liking it. But, yeah, because of these people, like Screw Attack went down the way it did. Like more and more Death Battle, less and less original content, to the point where, like, you know, Craig leaves, Nick leaves, I believe. Well, I think he's still with the company. Chad and Ben are just stuck there, like, making Death Battles, and I don't think they. I think they're starting to lose their enthusiasm by this point, because Rooster Teeth is super, super corporate. I would never work for them. It's it's sad to see, man. They used to put out good content, but it's gone down the route where it's just fanboys arguing over brands, basically. Like that's the kind of thing that people will watch on YouTube, which is just sad to say. It is embarrassing. Oh, by the way, blackcatbooks.org updates every day around 7ish, around the time I go live. So be sure to check it out around that time period. My thoughts on the Nintendo Indie Direct just went live, so go ahead and check that out. So anyway, I completely forgot I had set that up to happen. But anyway, yep, I'm now writing articles in advance for the website, and then scheduling them to be posted. And like I said, traffic is going up and up. I'm so thankful for all of you and your support. So yeah, let's see here. So yeah, so that's my thoughts on Death Battle. They could have been so much better. They could have been so much more. They could have, like, continued making great gaming content, but they squandered it in favor of fanboy bullshit. Like, again, it's the audience's fault, but again, these people just can't be taken seriously. So yeah, on to a more serious topic, the riots, the very peaceful protest. To sum up, the Minnesota DFL, Mayor Frey, Mayor Carter, and Governor Walz allowed looting, arson, and rioting, and now the state is stuck with $500 million in damages. And now, DFL candidates themselves are threatening arson. The DFL aren't liberals, they're lunatics. But is there really a difference? Yeah, so obviously these were never peaceful protests. Like, you don't do $1 billion worth of damage, $500 million worth of damage, and then, like, turn around and say, like, oh, we were lashing out at this society that's been holding us back. Society has done nothing to you other than maybe call you out on your shit. You know what I mean? Like, you are responsible for your own actions, and really, I've said this for a while, like, I really do think everyone involved in the riots should be arrested. Like, they should be put away for, like, 10, 20 years. These are serious crimes that corrupt governments, corrupt local Democrat governments are letting run wild in order to push their agenda, in a desperate attempt to destabilize the country under Donald Trump right before the election. It's really not a coincidence that all this crazy shit started happening earlier this year, and it's not a coincidence. It's going to end in November. Things will go back to, like, relative normalcy around that time period. We're going to see, like, I don't know. I expect Ghislaine Maxwell, is that how you say your name? The Epstein associate. She's going to die of COVID or suicide in the coming weeks. We'll see. We'll have to see how that plays out. That's the biggest thing I anticipate, though. I do expect COVID will be gone. I've done some independent research. But I do firmly believe at this point that, like, COVID is we're just going to be given a placebo, and we're going to be given some convenient explanation as to why it doesn't exist anymore. But you're not going to see any masks by the end of the year, for sure. It's not going to continue to next year. Honestly, it doesn't feel like it's continuing now. Really, in my personal life, I don't see masks at all. Like, other than, like, buildings where they're mandated, restaurants, businesses, workplaces, things like that. I haven't been wearing a mask at all, and I don't think anyone else has either. Like, it's not something that people are really taking all that seriously, because this isn't a real pandemic. Like, they're trying to say that they have, like, 5 million, like, cases of COVID, and then, like, There are no overworked hospitals. There are like all the things they said were gonna happen. Like it was gonna get into our food and things like that. Like they were gonna be like massive. They were gonna be like this massive like decline of society like right before our eyes. Like we were living in the stand. It didn't happen. Didn't happen. Like not even close. Like you can point to like, oh, but 100,000 people died. All you want, like 200,000 people died. I think 170,000 people died. I think. Well, they're writing off every death as being a result of COVID. Like that's the reality. Like it's not a real plague or not a serious plague or not a pandemic. How exactly is a pandemic defined? Hang on, like pandemic definition. Prevalent over a whole country or the world. Yeah, and it's not prevalent in here really at all. So yeah, again, it can't be classified as a pandemic. Oh, I'm sorry. I know we're dealing with liberals here who like to redefine words like marriage and wedding, like things like that, and sex. Yeah, they're probably just gonna retranslate. They're probably gonna redefine what pandemic means because I just pointed that out. But yeah, that's my take on that. Yeah, like I've been applying for a bunch of jobs, and despite what I was told, despite what I believed, I've had no trouble getting not only good work, but like a lot of work. There's been a lot of offers coming my way, and it just doesn't feel like a pandemic. Like, you know, all the interviews I've gone to, all the places I've gone, like places I've never been to before, like it just feels like people are going through the motions because they're supposed to. Like it's going to be over by November for sure, I would say. Honestly, like I said, it's already over now, but the government will like start to admit it when everybody else decides it's over, and it's starting to feel like it's going that way worldwide. The pharmaceutical companies actually. I've been thinking a lot about like the vaccine thing, and it feels like to me because Russia came out and said they had a working vaccine, these pharmaceutical companies had to say they had vaccines too, even though they clearly don't. Like, isn't it interesting how you have no idea how they put together these vaccines or they vetted them so quickly? Oh, we just have a vaccine. They're just saying that for business reasons. They don't actually have a vaccine. We don't actually need a vaccine. It's just, that really needs to be said more, I think, is that like these businesses, it needs to be more widely known, I think, that like vaccines aren't necessarily necessary. Like you don't need them for the flu and you don't need them for COVID, especially if like there's some other method of dealing with the illness when you get it, if you get it, I should say. Like if you get a flu, just get over it naturally. Like what's the big deal? You know what I mean? Like why do you need to like take a vaccine? It's completely pointless. So the lockdowns were pointless. People are going full Joker in the streets. I haven't been following the riots at all. I haven't been following the riots as much as I should have. I've been so focused on like literally spending all my time like working on Rabbit Hole, working on blackcatbooks.org, monetizing everything, getting everything set up, signing up for like Amazon's affiliate program, setting up how that's going to work, reviews, like things like that. Like I've been busy with that. Like I haven't had time to follow the riots like extensively, but like my impression is that they're like dying down a lot. Like you have a few like extremist areas. You have like, I believe Portland is one. You have a few extremist areas that are really, really nasty, and then the rest of the country is just like sick of it. And I do think it needs to be said more that like well, for one thing, hashtag Black Lives Matter is a joke. It's just a communist op. It's not a real movement to better black people. It's like it's basically just demanding reparations or money or like justifying looting and shit like that, which is all fucking retarded and disgusting and should have been condemned by everyone day one. But unfortunately, the people who should have been dealing with these organizations and people, these terrorist organizations, I think they can be classified as, considering how often they've been going after people in the streets, right? Their behavior, their actions, their demands Like, this can be considered a terrorist organization, right? Like, that's what they're doing. That's what you're giving money towards. And by the way, if you're don't give Black Lives Matter money. Just don't. Like, it's not gonna go to black people. It's gonna go to these. It's gonna go to these. To fund these riots, basically. It's gonna fund these organizations that are just gonna use them to fund more stupid programs that we don't fucking need. It's just. Like, I legit think that we don't really need a second stimulus check. Like, I said this before. Like, I've grown up in poverty, right? I grew up in poverty. I'm successful now. I have like all these things going for me, all these sources of passive income. I can get better work. I've had no trouble jumping from job to job. Like, I've had no trouble during this pandemic. If I, with my background of poverty, as early as just a couple of years ago, right? With my background of poverty, can go through the pandemic without a stimulus check. Like, nobody needs one. Like, nobody fucking needs the stimulus check. Like, everybody I knew was still working to a certain extent. If anything, a more reasonable extent. If anything, I got the impression that more people were enjoying their quarantine, enjoying not being worked like slaves. At least in my area. At least the people I was talking to, like. Companies are just exploitive, really. In a way, working from home is a good thing. You don't need to be in an office 8 hours a day to do shit that you could do at home in like 2. You know what I mean? Like, I have my own website. I know what it takes to work and make money. It doesn't take 8 hours straight of work. Okay, but anyway, I'm just. Yeah, that's what's really getting me at the moment. Like, 40 hours a week was way too much for me. Well, 56 hours a week. 56 hours a week was way too much for me, right? In a regular job. Yeah, right. So I was working that consistently, then coming home, then doing this shit, doing the writing, doing, like, everything else I've been doing. Like, doing that, making massive gains, and then realizing that, wait a minute, this job is actually holding me back. Like, without the free time I need to rest up in between, like, sessions of, like, live streaming, gaming, live streaming, I'm literally just wasting my time. Like, I'm not developing new skills because they're not teaching you new skills because they don't want you to be trained because they want you to be a slave. It really is best to just sort of develop your own skill set and go from there, and only work for a job if you absolutely need one. And I'm optimistic that I'm on the path to not really needing one thing again. I think I will take another one. Like, every job I take feels, I swear I hope is the last one. And the last one should have been the last one, but unfortunately I left a little bit earlier than I should have. If I had stuck with it for a couple of years longer, I would be successful. I was well on my way to being successful, right? I've transitioned really well into, like, my current lifestyle, and I'm really, really enjoying it. But I would have liked a little bit more money before I started, honestly. Again, on one hand, I could have stayed, but on the other, well, why would I? Because it fucking sucked. Like, I have my future set, I have my skill set, I have my idea, I have my books, I have everything I'm doing, right? I've developed, I have the skills, I don't need you to treat me like a slave. And, I keep getting off topic when it comes to this kind of thing. Right, I hope Americans start fighting back against, like, this mandatory overtime shit. Like, this is completely unacceptable, and I don't know, man. Like, I guess, like, upper class people don't have to deal with it, because, like, I've never heard, like, Ricada bring it up, like how prevalent it is and how ridiculous. Well, again, like, the closest I've heard someone else bring this up is when, like, Rockstar was, like, overworking their employees, which, by the way, is kind of tame to what I was going through, I think. But it's like, well, it's like a flash in the pan story, and then people kind of forget about it. Like, I think one of my goals going forward is, like, okay, we really need to mandate that companies cannot do this. And I do think, like, the big thing we can do right now is, like, value, like, get rid of immigrants, like stop bringing them in and value American workers more. Like stop trying to fuck them over at every single opportunity. Like we need to have more ways to sort of protect workers from and not communism, by the way. You don't need communism. Like you need a way to protect workers from these exploitive businesses. And I do think getting rid of immigrants is probably a really good first start to that, because it's going to make them value you more. It's not going to make them think you're disposable or whatever. And I think like getting women out of the workforce is a good bet too. Like they should be at home. Like, there's no reason for them to be working. If the woman works, if the wife works, you're in poverty. That's what I firmly believe that. You don't need the wife to be working, essentially. I mean, do you really need like two people in the household to be miserable? Like, come the fuck on. Do you need two people in the household to deal with like these terrible ass people? Like, no. And honestly, in my case, I won't even do it myself. But again, I'm a little bit different than most people. I have a bit more independent talent, shall we say, with what we're doing here on the Black Cat Show with this whole ordeal and doing all this. And yeah, I do think that's another thing too, is that like people need to stop being proud or stop being told that they should be exploited. Like, oh, be loyal to the company, do what the company wants. Like, no, if you don't do what I want, fuck you. Like stand up for yourself. Like, again, that's what I've been doing with the past couple of situations I've been in, and it's turning out well for me, honestly. Like, it's all working out. It's all coming together. It's all being wrapped up in a nice little bow, and I hope I will be able to like focus on what I really want to do, which is like, spend time with you guys who I legitimately like. I'm starting to recognize a lot of names in the chat, actually, which is very, very nice, very unexpected, very nice. A lot of comments I've gotten from you and observations. Again, maybe I should talk about this more, like when I'm playing the game, but when I'm doing the gameplay stream later tonight. But I think my main problem right now is that like when it comes to like the self-employment thing, like my audience is like spread out over different things, and like each of those things is not growing organically enough on its own. Like I have the books things, like those are selling. I have the YouTube, like I'm getting more views, not a whole lot, but I am getting them. I have the website, like it all feels like its own individual, independent thing rather than like a concrete whole that like builds me up and helps make me a really successful online personality. But we'll have to see how that evolves going forward. But I think I can do it. It's not all that difficult. Like really, I'm mostly just concerned about how. Honestly, I was just concerned about implementing Google AdSense into my website. Like I was like reading all these tutorials, and I was just like, wait a minute, what am I doing? Am I doing it right? And like it took me forever to realize that, like, wait a minute, it takes a couple of days for them to like set everything up on their end. So like I had everything right myself, but they themselves have not monetized my website yet. So it is in the process of being done. I have done it. I have done everything I could on my end, and it's just up to them. And now I just gotta drive traffic. So yeah, be sure to check out blackcatbooks.org. I'll be trying to update it every day with new content for you guys. Book reviews, game reviews. I think all my reviews of media are gonna go here from now on, since this is becoming a live show focused channel, and I can just write out a review like pretty quickly, and I think I'm happier with my written reviews anyway. I think people would go back. I'm seeing people like going back and looking at my older content a lot more with the website than I am with my YouTube channel. So I think that's going to be a good place for the review. So we're gonna do that for now on, like current events for the YouTube channel, and then the actual legacy stuff, reviews, stuff that'll last, important life advice, like that'll go on the website. Again, I'm still figuring it out. I'm still trying to carve out my niche. I've been researching it. I've downloaded this really interesting blog that I really, really recommend. Who is it from? Blogging Like a Pro? Blogging Like You Mean It. Yeah, so I've I've been reading up on how to. I've been reading up on how to blog and how to reach a wider audience, and my numbers are going up. So again, it's not ideal yet, but we're getting there, and I hope we'll be there. Not by the end of the year, but in the next 2 years or so. Next 2-3 years, I expect things will be a lot different then. Believe me. I mean, things are a lot better than they were a couple of years ago because I've taken so many positive steps in my life, in spite of all the toxic people around me sort of holding me back. I'm not going to go into specifics as to who it is, but yeah, it's just, I'm becoming successful in spite of that, and I'm very, very proud of myself. Very, very proud indeed. Wait a minute. So, wait, did I really just segue into talking about that instead of talking about the fucking riots? Did I talk enough about the riots? I honestly kind of forget. But anyway, yeah, so yeah, the rioters, there's no justification. Like, you're not out of work. Like, you're getting plenty of money. You've been given plenty of things over the years. You've had plenty of opportunities. You've squandered all of them, but you still demand more. And now you're, like, destroying cities of the people that basically propped you up. Like, I do think, more than anything, we actually need to strip back like a lot of these programs. Like, we don't need to give these people anything, absolutely nothing. Trump has like vetoed the demand for $500 million to restore the state, as he should, because fuck them. But I think it needs to extend to other things. Like, I think these people should get nothing. Like, they shouldn't be getting their unemployment. They shouldn't be getting, like, I don't know. What else do these people get? Yeah, I've come from worse poverty than they have, right? And I didn't qualify through these programs, but they somehow do. Anyway, it's unbelievable. It really is unbelievable, and I hope we take steps to prevent this thing from happening again. I do think people need to, like, call the riots and call the rioters fucking retards. Tell them that their movement doesn't matter, that they're not fighting for anything real. They just want free shit. Flag Lives Matter. Give us money. Like that's the entire ordeal. As long as they themselves get money and more of it, they don't care. Like, they don't care what happens to, like, the people around them, their societies, their communities. Like, that doesn't matter. They just want the money so they can buy cars and drugs. Like, that's it. Like, I think the family of George Floyd was, like, awarded like $8 million by, like, the state, like, right away or some shit for wrongful death. I don't know if that's true or not. I might have to look that up, but I guarantee you that money is going to be pissed away in like 10 years. It's going to be gone. Like, they're not going to, like, put it towards anything meaningful. It's all going to go to drugs, cars, and women for the dudes. Like, it's just gonna, and bitches and hoes. It's just. It's appalling. It really is absolutely appalling. I don't respect the riots. I don't respect anyone involved in them. I don't like these rich ass people too, like trying to justify it. Like, I think there's a notorious example in the YouTube sphere, Logan Paul. Like, he was out there, like, looting shit just because he could. Like, oh, he's only doing that because he's white. I know plenty of well-off black people who are out there doing that shit in my area. People I knew personally. I know these people, and I know they're pieces of shit, but they still did it anyway, because they've been spoiled by their wealthy parents. Yeah. I think that kid was wealthier than me. Shit. I think that guy had a lot more money than me. Fuck. Well, anyway. Yeah. So. Yeah, he would have. Yeah, I never really thought about that, but that is true. Yeah, so it's like, wow. Wow, who can take these people seriously? Like, none of them have jobs. None of them want to have jobs. They'll outright admit that to you in certain situations. Hang on, I had a very interesting tweet I posted here. Let me see. Here we go. I cringe whenever I see the word crime. It's no longer part of my vocab. Crime is a historical and political construction. the sooner we acknowledge crime as a made-up thing used to justify targeted criminalization/policing, the sooner we can talk meaningfully about actual harm. So basically what these fuckers are trying to say, what these people are trying to say right now is like, if you come after a black person for committing a crime, you know, like what happened with George Floyd and countless other these cases, if you go after a black person who's committing a crime, that's racist, because crime is just a construct to prevent the black person from becoming successful, because that's the only thing he knows how to do is commit crimes and fuck people over, which is in and of itself kind of a racist. But like this is their culture. Like, this is what they do. This is what these people in these circles actually believe. Like, crime is not a big deal. Crime is doing nothing wrong. Like going after criminals is a bad thing if they're black. They don't care about like white people getting arrested. It's just black people. That's racist. Like, if you go after black people for any reason, if you call them, like, I don't know, lazy or whatever, like, oh, you're just a racist. You're only saying that because you hate black people. Like, no, you're just a lazy fuck who doesn't want to work. It's kind of obvious to everyone, and I think that's the main thing I think white people need to do going forward. Stop letting yourself be exploited by these people. Like, no, you don't need to be responsible for them. They're responsible for themselves. Let them be arrested and go on with your life. Like, it doesn't matter that George Floyd died of a drug overdose. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Okay, so remember when some black folks were on here talking about high crime rates to justify the crime bill the other day? I was like, crime? You mean the socially constructed set of racialized, gendered, arbitrary rules created solely to limit your freedom and movement? That thing? It's so fucking stupid. Like, these people are only saying this shit because they know they can sort of get away with it, and it needs to stop. That's something I really want to advocate here for, is fuck these people. Like, Black Lives Matter is full of shit, and of course you'll find plenty of people who will say that, but like I want to like make that adequately clear. Like, these people need to be arrested. Okay, they're outright like killing motherfuckers. They're doing all this terrible stuff, getting involved in all these situations, and then blaming, you know, racism or integrated, like, what is their word for it? Like, not integrated. What is the word they use to justify, like, to explain the sort of the hierarchy of like privilege or whatever, where like white people are at the top and black people are always at the bottom. Like, the white people, man, every single white person in the world, oh man, they've been fucking me over left and right. You know what? Like, I've been fucked over by other white people a lot over the past couple of years, like near constantly. Okay, it has nothing to do with your race. Like, I do think that's the kind of thing that's going on here right now. Is that like they misinterpret, like probably intentionally because they know they can get something out of it, but they misinterpret this behavior as being racial when like they probably just treat everyone like that. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that guy was mean to me. It's he's clearly a racist. Like, no, he's probably just an asshole or had a bad day or whatever. Honestly, plenty of nice people I know are just severely overworked and like exhausted and become kind of rude as a result. Like, that's why you don't need to be overworked that much. I firmly believe that. Yeah. So, I mean, what are we gonna do? Like, how are these riots gonna end? I think people are just gonna get tired of them. I do think more and more white people are just gonna leave the cities. They're gonna leave these neighborhoods, and I think I do think people like me are gonna come out more often and say like, yeah, you left because of the blacks. Like, you didn't leave because of like, because I just wanted to leave. Like, no, you left because your homes were being destroyed by these people that weren't reined in by the government. So, that weren't reined in by the local law enforcement, I should say. Oh yeah, and by the way, the cops should be like telling their higher ups to go fuck themselves and just cracking down on this anyway. If the people in charge don't like it, you just need to like throw them out. Like, just it's over. Like, a lot of these Democrat leaders are very, very responsible for everything that's happened. They need to be held accountable, and I hope we start like we see like a sort of bloodbath going into like election season. Like, I hope a lot of these Democrat areas suddenly become a lot more Republican, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see. I don't know, man. Like, too many of these like Democrats are condensed in like one specific area or specific fields. Like, they're all in education. They're all in like, well, indoctrination, you should say. I learned absolutely nothing in school. Everything I've learned of value has been like of my own volition. Not my parents, not my teachers, nothing. It's all been me. It's I'm kind of proud of that, honestly. It feels like I'm my own self-made individual, going my own way and doing my own things. Right, so was there something else I wanted to talk about? I completely got sidetracked there with the whole, like, I'm so successful now, guys. Okay. I learned absolutely nothing in school. So, yeah, we wanted to talk about Digibro. I mean, I've talked about Digibro before. Let's see. Yeah, I keep meaning to talk about Digibro and like acknowledging like how fucking weird this guy is, but I keep getting sidetracked and keep doing different things. Oh, Angry Joe. Call of Duty teaser angry reaction. Why are you reacting to every little thing that Call of Duty or these major third parties announce? Who cares? Okay, we're gonna have to do this instead. Should I just change it to Angry Joe like reaction? I think I will change it real quick. Fuck Digibro. Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, this is meant to be a daily show anyway, so we're just gonna acknowledging like how fucking weird this. Hang on, shit. Pause. Okay, edit. Or where's my edit? Here we go. Yeah, so we're gonna do a. So we're gonna talk a little bit about Angry Joe because I've always been like talking about. I've been talking about him like off and on for years, right? Ever since I think the whole fan backlash thing about like not uploading new videos. He's a lazy motherfucker, a lazy Hispanic, and he's just I don't know, man. Recently he got his partnership terminated with Maker, who I believe is affiliated with Rooster Teeth in some way. It was under Disney. I can't keep track of who owns all these fucking companies. So Angry Joe is just. Every year, it's like the same thing, right? He comes out and just says, this new Call of Duty, man, I hope it's good. I hope they actually do new things. And then it never does. Like, why is this motherfucker constantly hyping up video games that aren't in any way impressive? Why is he not covering anything? Like, why is he not covering anything fresh or unique? Like, the Astral Chains, the ARMS, like the Nintendo Switch in general, like, why? It feels entirely like he structures his entire channel around getting views as easily as possible. Like, if I talk about the new Call of Duty, I'm gonna get like a bazillion views without any real effort. Like, I don't have to play a video game. I don't have to review anything. I don't have to talk about games at all. I'll do a reaction trailer to a game that nobody really cares about. And if you still care about Call of Duty, you are a piece of shit. You are a parasite. What the fuck is he wearing? What is that? Okay, I thought that was like Hillary Clinton for a minute there, and I was like, wait a minute, what the fuck are you doing, OJ? But anyway.
Okay, here we go. Ready?
Open can.
I remember days.
Open can.
So I really wonder how he's gonna react to this.
Hey guys, you just told us about the Call of Duty
Cold War trailer. Teaser. You son of a bitch. Fine, we'll watch it anyway. Let's see if it's even worth it. Ready, and let's go and watch.
Yeah, he's gonna pretend to like, oh, I don't like Call of Duty, but this one might be good by the end. That's my estimation. What do you guys think?
1, go. At the height of the Cold War, KGB defector UH Besmar issues a chilling warning.
You say understand what's going on around you. You are in a state of war. And you have
Yeah, it's not gonna be as good as Metal Gear Solid 3.
Is this real? That's real.
Oof. He claims a Soviet spy, codename, has infiltrated Western intelligence. It's starting to look like a Metal Gear.
Submit the U.S. to insurance. Arms race. To this day, the identity and whereabouts of Perseus remains. Until now, that's cool.
So it takes place in the 60s.
Or are they just making the shit up?
the first day.
Oh, just when when everything went downhill. Oh no.
Man, you can't fucking demoralize me. I'm demoralized.
Essentials. Economy, foreign relations,
Yeah.
defense systems.
Oh, but see, come on, man. What the fuck, guys?
With a violent change of power.
There's gonna be no gameplay, is there? You
Oh no. Was that footage from the current
What the
year?
fuck? Why did you?
This is what will happen in the United
I
States.
appreciate it.
It's almost like legalizing drugs and like making everything, making everything about yourself wasn't exactly good for the country as a whole. I'm just throwing that out there, man. Inspired by actual events.
Actual events.
Inspired by Metal Gear Solid 3.
Like
No.
that entity movie.
A plan
Actual
decades in
events.
the making.
It must be true. Alex.
Know your history.
Know your history. This actually happened.
Or be doomed to repeat it. Yeah, why are these progressives, I'm sorry, regressive, why are these communists thinking that they can make Russia work in America? Oof, the USSR. Oof.
Call of Duty.
Comrade
I
AOC.
can't put that up. What the fuck? You know what? Just because you made me watch that, I'm gonna put this video up. And fuck you guys, god damn it.
So it was just boring.
Nothing there. What
Totally
the hell
worth
do you want me
watching.
to
What do you
do
think,
that
Alex,
for?
about the game?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this video, yeah. I didn't talk about the game at all. Let's see. I was expecting that to be a bit more, maybe he's a bit more critical of Call of Duty than I expected. I don't know. Maybe he's just putting on a face. I don't know. Like, he kind of has to say the things that, like, his fans are expecting him to say. I mean, that's kind of, oof. I don't know. Oof. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think that was interesting enough. I guess I'll just edit the video again. Oops. Probably shouldn't have done that. Yeah. I mean, I thought it would be more interesting, but no. Oops. Let's see. I'll edit the video.
Expecting him to say?
Delete that. Yeah, I think
That's kind of.
I think that's everything I wanted to cover today. Actually, I can't think of anything more. Oh, do I have anyone in the chat? No, I don't. So unless anybody wants to chat, I think I am. I think I'm good to go. I guess I could talk a little bit about Ghost of Tsushima for a little bit. Oh yeah, there was a really good tweet I saw from oh, did he block me? I think he might have. From Broken Gamers HD. I remember exactly who it was. Maybe some of you saw it. But yeah, so Ghost of Tsushima. Let me see. Maybe I can find it. Maybe he blocked me because I told him both. Okay, here we go. Let me see if I can find it. Surprised he didn't block me yet, because I've been making fun of him for a while. Let's see. Because this is a cocksucker who's been defending a lot of these really terrible PlayStation games, including Final Fantasy VII-R, The Last of Us Part 2, and to an extent, Ghost of Tsushima. But I wanted to talk about the Ghost of Tsushima thing for a little bit. Let's see. Let's see. When did damn, this motherfucker tweets a lot. Here we go. Ghost of Tsushima is a great game. I gave it an 8.5 in my review, but there is nothing really amazing about it. The story/gameplay is good, but lacks polish and level of quality. Most of y'all praise for Ghost is really just immature, irrational hate for The Last of Us Part 2. Now, this is really interesting. This is this is really, really interesting because he's not wrong. Let's finish the second part here. The proof is people can't seem to praise Ghost without saying something negative about The Last of Us in same sentence. Y'all really just using Ghost as a tool to belittle The Last of Us because it hurt your feelings. So this is actually right. This is actually surprisingly accurate. The issue is that, like, he came to the wrong conclusion. It's not that the Ghost is good. It's like The Last of Us Part 2 is terrible, and like people are only going after. The only reason that people are criticizing The Last of Us Part 2 is because it's political, right? It has like all these political aspects that people hate, from Neil Druckmann of Naughty Dog, the fucking soy boy cuck. Like, this is just. This is a really good indication, from an actual Sony fanboy, that the only reason that Ghost of Tsushima is getting any praise at all is to dab on The Last of Us. That's it. It's just PlayStation fans trying to save face, trying to remain relevant, trying to compete with Nintendo, and failing, by the way, failing hard. That is going to be one of my articles on blackcatbooks.org. I do expect Nintendo Switch to outperform PS5 this holiday season. I'll be talking about that a little bit sometime this week. I don't know, in the next couple of days probably. It might be my next article, who knows. But so again, these people are blinded by their obsession with this brand. It's kind of interesting how I've developed this reputation as being the super hardcore Nintendo fanboy, but when exactly have I talked about Nintendo on this show? You know what I mean? Like, I've been talking a lot about a wide range of topics, like, political, YouTubers, drama, personal things, blogging success, like talking about a whole range of things, book reviews, like a whole lot of things, on top of playing a lot of great Nintendo games. You know what I mean? But I think that's the major difference between me and these chuckle fucks, right? I have an identity outside of liking PlayStation, liking Nintendo, right? Like, I like Nintendo, right? A lot, actually, as you can clearly see. I love Nintendo a lot. But, like, I'm committed to doing other things with my life, right? Like, I am optimistic. I'm thinking about, like, all sorts of things right now, like, the future, job opportunities, career paths, skills I could acquire. Like, there's all sorts of things I'm dealing with right now, and dealing with them very well, by the way. It's going really well, but these people, like, this is what damage control looks like, where you're just sort of like, in order to like to hype up The Last of Us Part 2, you have to take down Ghost in order to keep it relevant. Well, this is the thing, like, most people are talking down The Last of Us Part 2 and hyping up Ghost, but like, Broken Games is doing the opposite, where he's talking down Ghost to hype up The Last of Us Part 2 because he doesn't want to admit that Naughty Dog is not a very good game development studio. So I am just really, really, I'm really interested in seeing how this develops. I expect both games will be forgotten by the end of the year. I don't think The Last of Us Part 2 is going to have the staying power that the original did. I don't think any of the game journalists will be able to convince people that it's one of the best games ever made. I'm optimistic that within the next decade, the original The Last of Us will be off of these top 100 lists and will be replaced by something else. Uncharted 2, I think, will be for sure, which is very, very exciting to me. Again, once you have like these people who are paid to promote these games out of the picture, like, you'll find there's not really a whole lot of hyper enthusiasm around them. Like, I don't think The Last of Us is going to stand the test of time the way that RE4 did. Like, it simply isn't going to. Like, I was talking about how primitive and stale The Last of Us was when it first came out. Like, how much better Resident Evil 4 was then. It's just, it's remarkable. It really, really is remarkable. All right, so I think we're, all right, I think that's everything. I think I've covered everything. I've talked about everything. Yep. Yeah. All right, yeah, thank you all for tuning in. I'll be going live immediately with Hollow Knight. I want to beat the fourth Pantheon. I've been getting like the Pure Vessel all day, and I think I might be able to do it on stream tonight. So I think I'm gonna play it until I beat the Pure Vessel. So please stick with me for that. I'm gonna end the stream because I want to segregate the live show to the gameplay show. So yeah, thank you for checking out the live stream. I'll see you all next time. Subscribe to the channel, like, comment, subscribe, comment, subscribe. Check out the website at Black Cat Bookstore. Damn, there's a lot of